Fam, what's going on? Kyle Henderson, Bama Football on YouTube. I appreciate you guys being here. Thank you so much for joining me on this Thursday, June 27th. It's a cold summer, and I appreciate you guys. And honestly, I hope you guys are off to a fantastic start. I want to catch up with you today, talk recruiting. I want to talk about some news about last night. Jamarcus Shepard had a really nice quote about Ryan Williams. We're going to preview Deshaun Lee's commitment, which will be on Friday. We're going to talk about Dawson Merritt, who committed to Alabama on Wednesday. The news doesn't stop. You might need a breather. I'm not sure, but you probably need a jacket because the cold summer is only getting colder. Let me know where you're watching from inside the comment box. And if you could take a minute and hit the thumbs up on this video, I would really appreciate it. Thank you so much. While everybody gets checked in and where you guys post when you're watching from inside the comment box, I posted a video about this yesterday. I saw you guys watched it, and I appreciate it. Let's kind of go over that video and talk about Ryan Williams and what he was able to display thus far. And this is coming from Jamarcus Shepard and 100.9. They've done a great job facilitating those interviews. Ryan Fowler, one of the best in the business, and I'm glad that they're working with him. So Jamarcus Shepard said this. When it comes to how exciting Ryan Williams will be, Jamarcus Shepard said, get your popcorn ready. Okay, and I think sometimes, number one, people were excited about that on the internet, right? And I think we have a tendency to hype up some of these freshmen, and we can't wait for them to get here. But like getting it from Jamarcus Shepard, somebody who's an absolute straight shooter, somebody who has that absolute fire and that dog mentality himself, saying that about Ryan Williams is great. And he also went into detail and he said, look, he's working with the 4th team and the 5th team wide receivers, and that's fine. Like, he is going through. He is going to do what it takes to get on the field. And there's no entitlement here. You get it. Like, he even talked about the other wide receivers that are on board. And he said, my goodness, man, they run like Ferraris. This is Jamarcus Shepard on an interview with 100.9. These guys can run. My goodness, I thought I was at the Indianapolis 500, and that's coming from Jamarcus Shepard. Think about the receivers coming back, and I have a graphic. I'm not going to show it today, but talking about the wide receivers in detail, right? Because, okay, Ryan Williams, is he the guy? 100%. Is he going to be the guy? Yeah, he is. But think about the guys coming back for Alabama. Jeremy Bernard, the addition from Washington. Kobe Prentice, don't sleep on him. Kendrick Law, don't sleep on him. Emmanuel Henderson, please don't sleep on him. Cole Adams, some of these other guys within the room that really just haven't had their opportunity just yet. There's not a 1,000-yard wide receiver coming back, but these guys can be 1,000-yard type players. Now, when you look at a player like Ryan Williams and what he brings to the team, and we're watching his highlights right now, I appreciate you guys watching. Joe, what's going on from Phoenix City? Max Mal Waldrop, that's where he's from, man. That's a commitment. We're going to talk about this commitment class. We appreciate you guys. What's going on, DC? 777, see you inside the comment box. Larry Williams, roll tide to you. Jay, what's up, man? I appreciate you. Thanks for being a member of the Undefeated. If you want to be a member of the Undefeated, $2 $2.99. I appreciate you guys. Hit the hyperlink on the home screen of this YouTube channel. Ryan Williams has elite speed, and when you talk about football type speed, Ryan Williams has that type of speed. You get him the football, he's able to make you miss. He's a game changer. And I said this yesterday on a video that I uploaded. I would love to see Ryan Williams on the field the first game of the season returning kicks or punts. Like, he just has it in him. Can you imagine if you wanted to really erupt in that first game against Western Kentucky, have Ryan Williams returning kicks, punts? I think he'd probably take one to the house. Some people just have it in life. Like, Coach Saban is one of those guys. I think Ryan Williams does too. And I love how they've been able to utilize Ryan Williams in terms of being a recruiter for this team and what he's been able to do. So getting the opening quote from Jamarcus Shepherd yesterday about get your popcorn ready. I don't think he's blowing smoke. I think this is 1,000,000% fact. I think he's absolutely going to crush it, and I can't wait to see what he can do. DC 777, I appreciate you becoming a fan funder of this YouTube channel. $2.99 to support what I do for a livelihood, and I appreciate you guys supporting me. Thank you so much. Yesterday, Alabama football released some footage of Alabama players getting some work in. I love these type of videos, and you can watch all the videos on Alabama social media, whether it be Twitter, Instagram, the university's YouTube channel, whatever it is. Support those guys. They do a really great job, and I think this video, what it shows me is, look, I get in my workouts. Like, I just got mine in the morning, and we push ourselves, right? Push ourselves to the ultimate. Yesterday, I led. These guys are working out. It looks like I don't know what time this is. I hope it's before 10 because, yeah, while it's been a cold summer, it is so hot and humid here in Tuscaloosa. I mean, I'm probably still sweating from this morning's workout. There's Ryan Williams right there. But these guys putting in work. And I talked about this yesterday as well. I feel, and let me ask you, Undefeated, as well, don't you kind of feel like this team already has cohesiveness? Like, it seems like the group is already together. Am I right? Do you kind of get that sense of feeling that this group's already come together? And what happens is, in my opinion, in my small life experience, I feel that adversity brings people closer together. And the adversity that these guys have had to face was losing Coach Saban and listening to the outside noise. Now, I get it. You have to block all that out. But, I mean, come on. We see it everywhere. And that Alabama's not going to be what they were, that this team can't do it, that Jalen Milroe can't be the quarterback, that he can't lead them to national title, that Coach Kalen DeBoer can't recruit, blah, 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 right? And so, you see it. And I think what it's done for these guys, there's David Ballou working with these guys, they've come together. And I think they're like, look, that length mentality, let a naysayer know. And they're like, okay. Like, you guys want to see? We will prove it, and we will build our leadership and our camaraderie together. And come that first game, I think the first 3 games of the season, I think Coach Kalen DeBoer just lets it go. Look, and I'm like tunnel vision. I'm not looking at the scoreboard. I'm just letting these guys eat. 1,000,000%. And DC 777, I agree, man. This is some great video content. And it kind of gives you an inside track to how these guys are working. And yeah, everybody's working, but this is where it starts, right here in the summertime, right? And that builds over into the season. Yesterday as well, and I appreciate you guys joining me. If you could just take a second and hit the thumbs up, I'd really appreciate it. Thank you so much. I'm going to grab a swig of my coffee real quick. Yesterday, which was Wednesday, Dawson Merritt committed to the Alabama Crimson Tide. He picked Alabama over Nebraska. I don't know if it seemed like those were his final 2 options. Nebraska wants so bad to be good again in college football. The truth of the matter is Alabama is absolutely rolling. And I have a graphic coming up that's going to display what has happened in the month of June. Dawson Merritt is a very special type of a player. He was recruited by Christian Robinson. Looks like he's going to be a player that they call, an outside linebacker in the system, whatever you want to call it, the Husky. And he is super athletic. And I think this particular prospect says a lot about the Alabama defensive recruiting philosophy. So here you have Dawson Merritt out of Kansas, 6'3", let's call him, 220 pounds, picked Alabama. There were some people on the back end that felt that he was using Alabama for his own, personal brand or whatever. It's like, that's a great idea, using Alabama for your brand. But I think eventually, like, this is the place that can get you developed 100%. When we look at what Dawson Merritt can do on the football field, and these are Dawson Merritt's highlights. He committed to Alabama yesterday. One of the great commitments in this month of June, this cold summer. As you can see, super, super athletic. I almost kind of like, his highlight tape, he's able to get to the quarterback so fast off the edge. And that's what he's going to bring to Alabama. You look at like a Noah Carter, right? I think this guy is very similar. I think Noah Carter, the thing with Noah Carter is he could play on the offensive side of the ball. I think Dawson Merritt probably could as well, at least at the high school level. So when you see what he's able to do in terms of the size that he has, being 220 pounds, his speed, he's a playmaker right here. You see him stripping the football, having a turnover for his team. This was a really big pickup for the Crimson Tide on the defensive side of the football. And, Dawson Merritt is in, and this was a big pickup, and he committed yesterday to Alabama. So if you're joining the show, I appreciate you guys. What's going on? Kyle Henderson, Bama Football on YouTube. We have 97 in. If you could get the thumbs up, I'd appreciate it. Efron, I see you inside the comment box. Thank you so much. I appreciate you for being here. DC 777, I park every morning at 7:30 so I can see this. I appreciate it, man. And I try to keep, my segments, I want to get to the meat within 30 minutes because I know you're busy. I'm busy as well. During the season, we'll change the format because the team will be practicing and there's a lot of different avenues to cover the team. And so as news happens, I appreciate you guys sticking with me right here on Bama Football on YouTube. So after, Dawson Merritt committed, I started thinking about it, and I was like, man, this has really been kind of the cold summer. I'm the type of person, I'm visual. I need to see things. I need to see like, okay, cold summer, but what does that mean? Well, the cold summer is like the proof is right here. Okay, so these are the June commitments, and June has been really, really hot. Bama in June, number 2 on 24/7, number 2 on Rivals, number 4 on On3, 7 overall 4-stars that have committed to Alabama just this month. Okay, so let's kind of work from the bottom right with Keelan Russell and work our way left, and then we'll kind of snake to the top. Okay, so you get Keelan Russell in, who's your 4-star quarterback, and what happened here was look at the momentum he provided. And this was before he won the Elite 11. This was before he won the Rivals Award. I think he won some sort of award with the On3 series as well. Then after that, 4-star out of Texas, going to be a 5-star when all is said and done. Then you get Chuck McDonald. That was a great addition, to Alabama from the secondary. Henry, I appreciate the super chat, man. 2 days in a row. Appreciate it. Thank you so much. With the super chat. I really appreciate it. And he commits out of the state of California, right? Then you have Michael Carroll. He jumped on board. He's an offensive lineman out of Pennsylvania. So you hear what I'm saying? Texas, California, Pennsylvania. Then you have Mal Waldrip, who committed to Alabama from the state of Alabama. So you take care of your own backyard. Then you go back to California and you get a punter in Alex Osproff. Now, the interesting thing about these rankings when you're looking at star rankings for special teams players, Cole's Kicking Academy is probably the most reliable in terms of ranking the kickers. Like On3, Rivals 24/7, the max they go is like a 3-star. But Cole's Kicking Academy, I think he's like the number 2 or the number 3 punter in the country. And again, he's out of California. Then you go up and you get London Simmons from Alabama's next door neighbor in Mississippi. He's a 3-star defensive lineman. You get Jackson Lloyd out of the state of California. This is their highest ranked offensive lineman to this point in time on June 27th. He's a 4-star lineman out of California. You get Micah DeBose from LA. That's lower Alabama to us, right? So we appreciate, that pipeline to California, but also taking care of your backyard. Then you get, I'm running out of breath talking about all these commitments, right? Let me take some coffee before we continue. All right, then you get Micah DeBose, and one of the great things about Micah DeBose is the way that they announce his commitment. Ryan Williams gets up to the podium. He's like, Micah DeBose has something to say. Micah DeBose comes up and says, Roll Tide. Max, what's up? I appreciate you being here. Byron, what's going on? William, AJ, Southern Red, good morning to you. Max Tooney, and of course, Chris from New Jersey, all here on Bama Football on YouTube. I appreciate you guys. yesterday you get Dawson Merritt, a 4-star outside linebacker. And who is next, right? Who is next to commit to the Alabama Crimson Tide? And that is what we're going to talk about next right now on Bama Football on YouTube. I don't know if there'll be any recruitment news today. Let me back up. There will be. I just don't know if there will be a commitment. It seems like every single day there's pieces of news that continue to roll out in terms of guys who are going to commit. So we are on commitment watch, I would say, every single point in time in terms of recruiting. And I think that it's a good time to be an Alabama Crimson Tide football fan, and you're loving the news that is coming. Brock, no, I see you, man. What's up? And so the way that I see the names, they're super, super tiny on the right, but no, I try to get everybody linked in. Jonesy, what's up? I appreciate you. Thank you so much. I'm feeling really good, and I hope you're feeling good as well. Okay, so let's talk about another prospect that is on commitment watch, and he is committing on Friday. All right. And this is Dejoun Lee. Now, this is a big one. This is an internet breaker. This is one that you want to cut out some time tomorrow to be sure and turn on those notifications so we can be able to discuss Dejoun Lee because and I hear that, Georgia, is still somewhat in play. But from everything that I've heard, this is an Alabama lean. Now, Dejoun Lee, this is big time. OK, this is one of those monumental pieces. This would be Alabama's first 5-star that commits, even though I say that Keelan Russell is Alabama's first 5-star. You get what I'm saying, right? So Dejoun Lee, this is a big one. This is as big as it gets, okay? And when you start to dig into Dejoun Lee, and he'll be announcing tomorrow during the midway point, Brock is saying Bama lock, Chris from New Jersey, 100% Lee is committing. So, yeah, people feel good about Dejoun Lee. Let me ask everybody inside the comment box, just to back me up. You feel confident that Dejoun Lee picks Alabama tomorrow on Friday? Type Y for yes inside the comment box. I'll let you do that right now. All right, C-Dub says, morning, Kyle. Can we talk about DeBoe's possibility of flipping to Ohio State? Just saw a post of him repping their gear. I think this at point in time, everybody's going to take their visits and be excited about where they're going. I think with Micah DeBoe's, Ryan Williams, can be in his ear and be like, yo, why not Bama? LA to Tuscaloosa. I'm talking about lower Alabama to Tuscaloosa. It seems like that's the good fit for him. Okay, so when you look at Dejoun Lee, who's announcing on Friday, I'm telling you, these highlights are absolutely this is big time. I'm telling you, this guy is going to be in the NFL. This guy is probably going to be an NFL first-round draft pick. This is the type that you build your class around, and getting someone like Dejoun Lee is going to add that much more momentum to this class. He's 6'4", doesn't get beat over the top, according to Greg Biggins. There's no bigger analyst on the West Coast than Greg Biggins. He's been doing it for about 30 years. He knows all of the talent. I'd be curious to see what Greg Biggins has to say about where he ranks in terms of top defensive backs in California. This guy is long, he's rangy, he's a playmaker, and he's very physical. As you'll see within these highlights, he will come up and hit you. He's physical and in all assets. So a true 5-star, and like Byron says inside the comment box, he is a monster. He's a playmaker. He doesn't get beat. And in this grass basketball world, you need your corners to be 5-stars, right? There's no this is where we're at. You need, and like Coach Saban said, most of the best players are on the offensive side. I think Dejoun Lee in this particular case, I think the best player is on the defensive side. So picking him up, watch this play right here. Look, comes up over the top, be able to knock the ball down. There's a play coming up here where he absolutely lays the wood into a kid. The guy is absolutely physical, and this would be a monumental pickup for Alabama. I think this is it. I want to see that one where he lays it. Look at this. He's physical. So he will be announcing on Friday. What's going on, Patriot Life? I see you inside the comment box. And again, Brock, what's going on? Marcus, thank you so much. Yeah, and you're right. He does seem very instinctive. Look at this. Instinctive already for just being in high school. Appreciate you guys checking in Bama Football on YouTube. My name is Kyle Henderson. Take a minute to please hit the thumbs up. And he's a headhunter, so he will be announcing tomorrow. We opened up our show talking about a video that I produced yesterday, talking about Ryan Williams and kind of getting the popcorn ready because he is set to commit. I'm sorry, Ryan Williams is already turning heads at Alabama's camp in terms of spring workouts. He's going to be that guy. But right now he's in the fifth wide receivers, which is fine. That's where you want to be. There's no entitlement, and there can't be. When you look at the recruiting rankings, and I think we have to update this graphic because I think Alabama now has 14 four-star commitments. You see where Alabama is, and I think they're number 4. They're number 2 on Rivals, and they're number 2 on 24/7. Rivals has them ranked, and they've shown a couple different clips of some Alabama prospects. I think Michael Carroll, I saw him getting chippy with another prospect from Georgia yesterday on their Twitter feed. But as you can see, things are going very well for Alabama right now. What's going on, JG? I see you inside the comment box. We're also watching AK Deer out of Mississippi. He could, at some point flip from Ole Miss to Bama. That's what we're watching. And what would be, and we talked about this yesterday, is kind of the running back depth at Alabama. So if AK Deer does flip to Alabama, you look at that running back depth chart, and if you're a person who likes running backs, and if you are excited about Alabama running backs, this is your class, okay? You got Jam Miller, Justice Haynes, Richard Young. Look, undefeated. Let me ask you inside the chat, do you feel that this is one of the best running back rooms in college football? I would say so. I get it. There's not a lot of production from last year, but we know this running back room, my goodness, okay, those first 3, and no disrespect to Daniel Hill, because eventually he'll get his, same with Riley. I don't know how much those guys play this year, but those 3 guys on the left, damn, and I'm not kidding. I'm not just saying this, to talk out to be Alabama fansy. Jam Miller is a monster. And people will only understand that Jam Miller is a monster when the first 20 carries that he gets. Then you'll understand how good he is. You will understand what Justice Haynes is bringing and the type of opportunities that he gets, and just wait for Richard Young. I think even Richard Young, and look, I love a heavy package. My dream package would be Daniel Hill, Robbie Oots, Jalen Milroe, behind Jaden Roberts, Tyler Booker, and Parker Brailsford. That's my heavy package dream. But I think even more so than Daniel Hill right now, I think Richard Young, I would like to use him in short yardage situations inside the red zone. 5 yards, I want Richard Young. I think he can run over people. And Kevin Riley, he'll get his. You have Turbo Rogers. So AK Deer, why not Alabama? Look at these guys. I mean, this is the running back room that is ultra talented. I can't wait to see what these guys do. Jarvis is saying it's a 5-headed monster at the running back room. I get it, man. And these guys are going to eat. I don't know. I'm probably going to say right now that I don't think that there will be a 1,000-yard running back on this team, but I think these guys definitely probably rush as a group for close to 2,000 yards, right? I mean, because I think it is going to be a 3-headed attack, probably a 1-2 combo, and I think Richard Young will certainly get fed as well. All right, let's talk about a little bit about this momentum that Alabama has, okay? And how did we get here? Right now, and I asked you this inside the community tab, are you surprised with recruiting? Are you surprised with the momentum that Alabama has right now? Not only in recruiting, but altogether. I don't know what changed from May to June, but it seemed like on May, things, we were kind of wondering. I think some of us knew what was going to come, but now it seems like Alabama is things didn't even change from Coach Saban, which is crazy because we didn't even really have time to, get acclimated to this new staff. But now that things are completely under Coach Kalen DeBoer, my goodness, man, the momentum that they have, who knows what's going to happen. Patriot Life with 5 fan funderships. Chris from New Jersey says Ryan Williams looked like he's put on a few pounds of muscle. I agree. Jonesy was gifted. John Lee was gifted. Nova Speed was gifted. Kenny and Shane B. Thank you so much, Patriot Life, for your generosity right here on Bama Football on YouTube. Let me ask you this. When we're talking, because I want to put together another video in time, when we're looking at kind of underrated players on this team? And I like to talk about that. Who do you think are some underrated players? One of the underrated players for me that I would like to talk about is probably Devontae Smith. Devontae Smith, yes, Alabama has another Devontae Smith. For whatever reason, I think when we are talking about the secondary, we stopped talking about Devontae Smith. Devontae Smith had a quote yesterday on Twitter saying that he is really excited about these prospects committing and being a part of the Alabama football team in the future. And I'm not sure what happened, why we stopped talking about Devontae Smith. Maybe because he was injured last season, but he's a great addition to the secondary, right? And I believe he would have been a starter over Jalen Key if he didn't get injured. So I'm asking you, Undefeated, who do you think is an underrated type player going into the college football season for Alabama? And Rodney, I agree with you, man. I didn't see it either. So being here at this point in time is absolutely wild. All right, I'm going to read out a couple names. Greg is saying Cole Adams. Cole Adams and even Joe Crooms is saying Cole Adams and LT Overton. So Cole Adams is a name that gets that'll be in here a lot, I would imagine. Cole Adams is a very shifty type wide receiver, redshirt freshman here at the University of Alabama, who was utilized during the springtime. But I think in terms of like underneath routes and guys that can be a tough mismatch and guys who have hands, speed, make you miss, I think Cole Adams is a really good addition. Who knows? Maybe he turns into a guy that we didn't talk about. LT Overton, I'm curious to see more of LT Overton. To be honest, I didn't get that much of an opportunity to see LT Overton during the springtime. Former 5-star, former member of the Texas A&M Aggies, just didn't get to see him a lot. So he's kind of one of the guys that I'm like, next time we have like practice availabilities or talking to the coaches, I want to understand more about LT Overton. Hood Jesus is saying Quay Russo. Yeah, this could probably be it. Probably even more so than Devontae Smith. In terms of being an edge rusher, someone on the defensive side who could be one of the best in the SEC in terms of an edge rusher. So don't sleep on Quay. I think in the past, sometimes the outside linebacker, I mean, look at the guys that Alabama's had over the last 2 years. William Anderson, Dallas Turner, each first-round type guys. So the next is coming. I don't know. I mean, Quay is going to be there. Sometimes I think about Q Robinson as well, right? Sometimes we forget about Q Robinson. I thought that he had the makings to be really good. So I just kind of wanted to get your take in terms of guys who could be next in line. SC is saying Josh Cuevas. Josh Cuevas is a tight end who transferred from Washington to Alabama. We go to the same barber, Josh Cuevas and I. And the barber was telling me that Josh was telling him that he could tell by the competition that it's much higher than at Washington, which is by no surprise. I mean, even look what Jamarcus Shepard was saying. He's like, these guys are running like Ferraris. And he did work with the Washington wide receivers, okay? Hood Jesus is asking about Jalen Hell, who was injured during springtime, if there's an injury report. You know, I think he's coming along. I wouldn't completely rule him out. I don't think he's been ruled out for this season at all, but I think, him playing sooner than later is probably out of the question. Who knows? I mean, with Jeff Allen here at the University of Alabama and the Sports and Science Center, who knows what they're cooking up. It's not like if you or I were to like break our shin or break our leg, like, no. Like these guys are getting top end coverage, which they should. They're Olympic type athletes already, so they heal faster than we would. It's still amazing to me that they can build, for example, like a fake hamstring, like a hamstring apparatus. You ever had hamstring issues? Or like, I mean, last year Alabama had a couple ankle injuries. Those guys came back within like a couple weeks. So I don't worry about, those injuries as long as Jeff Allen is here. And so we talk about Freddie Roach being retained and Robert Gillespie, right, from the coaching staff. And I think each of those guys have a title as assistant head coach. This is important, what I'm about to say. Maybe bigger than those guys. I don't know. That might be a stretch. But they also retained David Ballou, the strength coach, as you see right here. And they also retained Jeff Allen. you couldn't get away from those guys for many different reasons, because that would just be idiotic, right? Jeff Allen has been here since Saban's been here. He's literally built like the back end of this incredible sports science program. He's won different awards. Like, he is the guy. And then David Ballou, like, if you were to change out your strength position and your training, your medical trainer, right? That would be a really big, changeover. These guys already know what David Ballou wants, the production. So I love kind of where we're at in terms of keeping those guys. Brock is saying Hollywood going to show out later this year and be unstoppable. Yeah, absolutely. Jarvis is saying CJ Dupree. I appreciate it. Jamie, what's going on? I appreciate you. Thank you so much for being here. Want to thank everybody for continuing to support the product right here on Bama Football on YouTube, and being a member or fan funding on Bama Football on YouTube. These are the goals for the next 34 days in terms of super chats and fan funders. So we appreciate it. Remember, this is what I do for a full-time basis. So I really appreciate you guys supporting me right here on Bama Football on YouTube. Bama Flashlight asks, Kyle, do you think any of the other quarterbacks are close to taking over Jalen Milroe? I don't think so. I think that the quarterback position is Jalen Milroe's, and he's going to be the starter, and he'll retain that position. Now, that doesn't mean that there's not going to be quarterback competition for Jalen Milroe. I think that, competition makes everybody better, right? Everybody. And I think for the quarterback room, and I have a graphic where I'll talk more about the quarterbacks on another channel or on another time, but I think when you look at the production of the quarterbacks, and I'm not going to throw shade on any type of quarterbacks, but these are the facts. Jalen Milroe is 12-2 as a starter, right? He almost threw for 3,000 yards last season. 24 touchdowns. The other quarterbacks just don't have the experience just yet. For example, one of the things, because I was putting together a graphic, basically something like this, but for the quarterbacks, I have one for all of the positions that I'll show. And I just put the stats, right? Like, I don't want to drive like this narrative and not speak facts, but you see where it says 2023 stats for the running backs? Like, these are facts. Miller ran for 200 yards. Haynes ran for 168. When you look to Alabama in the quarterback position, you quickly see, and this was something that I didn't even realize. Did you know that Ty Simpson hasn't thrown a touchdown yet here at Alabama? And I don't even think he threw. I think he had 11 attempts last year. So he just hasn't had the experience yet. Now, what I feel, and this is in my opinion, I think that Ty Simpson certainly has the ability to lead this team if he was called on. I think that, the game that I look at isn't necessarily South Florida, but the game where I saw a lot of growth from him was against Kentucky. And he barely spot played in that game. Ty Simpson has it in him for sure. And when you look to the quarterbacks behind him, Dylan Lonergan, I think Dylan Lonergan just played in one game last year, which was Chattanooga, and he was 2 for 2. Austin Mack has not played yet, and now you have Keelan Russell. So the quarterbacks just don't have the experience yet, but that doesn't mean that they are not talented enough to play right now. Now, the facts are Jalen Milroe is the guy. He's, I think, a plus 1,000 odds winner to win the Heisman Trophy. I am on the Jalen Milroe train. I believe in his abilities. I think that these coaches will be able to get him improved and be able to have him ready for this coming season. I think he is a leader of this team. I know he's a leader of this team. I think we all do. So we'll just have to wait and see. And for the people out there that don't believe in Jalen Milroe, I promise you, those same people, whether they're on an opposing team, they would love to have Jalen Milroe. Jalen Milroe was offered to enter the transfer portal. He said that. Like, people were sliding in his DMs. I promise you, if Jalen Milroe was to enter the transfer portal, you would be heartbroken, and he could probably make whatever he wanted to make in terms of money from going into the transfer portal. And I promise you this too: when that game comes out, NCAA football on July 16th, everybody, even if you're not an Alabama fan, is going to be playing with Jalen Milroe. So I can't wait to see the quarterback, room. Daniel, I think you're wrong, man. Daniel's like not heartbroken. I appreciate you being here, man. And I think Ty will be a really good quarterback. And I want to see more Dylan Lonergan. And to be honest, I was impressed with Austin Mack. I liked him. I think he's probably closer to 6'8". But the quarterback room is like its own show. So, Byron, I appreciate you. He's saying work ethic is fantastic. Bama Flashlight. I really thought Ty would have gotten the job. I mean, look, I think when the job is up to get, he probably get the job for sure. Marcus, what's going on? Kyle, do you think that Kane Womack's defense will be better if Bama kept T-Rob? He was offered the DC position. I don't know. I mean, that's a hypothetical question. I think from the defense is, you could, if you want to be critical right now and kind of poke holes at Alabama, I would think about, Alabama's defense, right? You lost Coach Saban. Who you lost a lot of players from the secondary. Kane Womack, you could say, he coached at South Alabama. You lost Dallas Turner. You lost Kool-Aid. You lost Terran Arnold. You could really start to, pick at Alabama's defense. You really could. I think the defense will be challenged. How could they not be? We've talked about the fact, look at the quarterbacks. But Alabama, this is the positive, though. Alabama's secondary, as well as the defense, will get to grow up in a hurry. So when you think of the first couple of games, and I've said this before, but I'll say this again for the people who haven't heard me say this, the first 5 quarterbacks all have experience that Alabama will face. TJ Finley out of Western Kentucky, he has a lot of experience, and he will test Alabama's secondary. He's going to throw a ton. The second quarterback is a guy from South Florida that Alabama already played last year, so he was a problem to deal with. Tyler Van Dyke, that'll be the third quarterback that Alabama faces. He's thrown for over 7,000 yards during his career. The fourth quarterback that they face will be Carson Beck, right, out of Georgia. And the fifth quarterback will be Diego Pavia, who led New Mexico State to a bowl game last year. So they will get to grow up in a hurry, the secondary. So that's kind of how I view Alabama's front-end season. Now, the back-end season is crazy. If Alabama is able to win every single game on the back end, they probably win the entire college football season. That back end is crazy. I don't even look at it. It's wild. Brock is saying Tyler is trash, over 12 interceptions last year. Yeah, that may be true, but he's also an experienced quarterback. What has he thrown? I think he's thrown for 7,000 yards or something like that. And the other thing about the secondary is, you could say, is Alabama doesn't have, cohesiveness within those guys just yet, because the only returning starter is Malachi Moore. Let's just go into the season and talk about the secondary. I'll build out a graphic when we talk to secondary. Damani Jackson, Deshaun Jones or Xavier Brown, those guys haven't played together. Up top, Keon Sabb, Malachi Moore, the one returner. I don't know how Devontae Smith's going to fit in here. But those guys are all players for sure. Maybe one of the freshmen rises up. So I think the secondary, the younger guys are certainly there. The guys just haven't played together, but they'll grow up quickly. Any more comments inside the comment box? I appreciate you guys being here. I just have the graphic up of Ryan Williams, just kind of filling it. This came out yesterday. Alabama putting in the work and getting ready. We are on commitment watch every single day, so make sure your notifications are turned on. Be ready for any type of information that may drop right here on Bama Football on YouTube in terms of, a commitment. Because how there's tornado watches and warnings, right? This is a warning. Okay. A watch is the elements are there, but a warning is it's going to happen. So this is a warning. This is an ice age warning for a cold summer. Marcus is saying, wasn't someone supposed to announce their commitment today, or am I tripping? I don't know if there's going to be a commitment today on Thursday. I didn't know that Dawson Merritt was going to commit yesterday. You just kind of, luckily I was at my computer and I was working on, different elements and stuff like that. So I just went live. But sometimes you don't know. So sometimes I have a video ready or I'll go live. It kind of just depends. Brock is saying Xavier Brown going to win that other CB spot. Yeah. He was starting, for the spring game. JGJG is saying AK Deer might flip today. You never know. Exactly. I'm definitely waiting on that. Daniel, we appreciate you, man. Hate the Ice Age cold summer stuff. Ripping off Auburn freeze. Yeah, I personally like the cold summer. I think it's a good twist. It's something that, is new. I'm on board with it. I'm just really on board with Courtney Morgan and the job that he's done. Because these guys had, these guys had to follow Coach Saban. Nobody wanted to do that. But these guys had the stones to do it. I appreciate you guys being here this morning for my morning segment. Remember, as news happens, Think Bama Football on YouTube. I keep my segments as long as they should be. We talk about the news as it happens. And next time there's breaking news, Think Bama Football on YouTube. Think about becoming a fan funder. I'll put it inside the link below. And if you guys have any questions, just hit me up inside the comment box. I really appreciate you guys supporting the channel, being here with me this morning, and talking Alabama football. You guys deserve quality content. So I put a lot into the show in terms of the sound, the production, and everything on the back end just to make sure that you guys have a great product, because Alabama football, I couldn't have a YouTube channel that didn't match the quality of Alabama football, right? We have to be 5 stars on all fronts. And I think if you've seen the show and you've seen the channel over the last, 8 years, you've seen kind of the different metamorphoses of the channel. So this next metamorphosis, we're in it, and I'm excited about it, and you should be too. I appreciate you guys. Have a beautiful Thursday morning. As news happens, Think Bama Football on YouTube. I really appreciate you guys. Be good people, and as I always say, roll tide and enjoy your day. Talk soon right here on Bama Football.